It is that time of the year when our homes are active with children running, scampering, laughing and playing, excitedly of course. A good time for children to bond with their parents, and children love eating. Good food makes them grow strong and healthy. So as we welcome you to the program, expect that this edition will be child-friendly. I'm excited being here once again for the program Biotechnology in Focus, and my name is Ifeanyi Okafor. The importance of balanced diets cannot be overemphasized. A healthy feeding habit is advised for proper growth, good health, strong bones, and for healthy living. Wrong eating habits can make people sick or cause obesity, malnutrition, and other health complications. Protein helps to build and repair muscles. Chicken, fish, beans, non-fatty milk are very good sources of protein. Carbohydrates are equally very good in balancing your diet. They provide you with energy required to keep going throughout the day. Healthy carbohydrates are fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Carbohydrates that are high in fiber content are advised. Now, legumes are a good source of carbohydrates. Intake of fats is also required to form a balanced diet. Now, but this is advised to be in small quantities. Eating good food begins with growing good food. And this is where biotechnology comes in. Have you been asked this question before? What is balanced diet? Early in our childhood days, this question repeatedly came my way, sometimes in school, other times at home, or at social events. Now let's hear from the children what they understand by balanced diet.
Balanced diet is a meal that contains the 6 classes of food in their right proportion. Balanced diet is a food that contains all 6 classes of food in their right amount. Balanced diet, or otherwise known as adequate diet, is a meal that contains 6 classes of food in the right proportion.
A balanced diet can be said to be a nutritional food which has the 6 classes of food in their right proportion.
Balanced diet is the meal that contains the 6 classes of food in the right position. Balanced diet is a food that contains the 6 classes of food in their right quantity.
It's totally amazing when little children bear their minds on certain things they have learned. They are always passionate and assertive, while bright kids need good food. Now, the antidote to hunger is food, and agricultural biotechnology is the answer to sufficient food production for all. Up next on the program is our features package. Be right here when we return. Food is essential to humanity, and all over the world, countries place emphasis on food production. Food security is a crucial factor for life, for existence of man and for development.
There is need for us to use biotechnology if we want to, fight hunger. Because even with COP, by 1991, Nigerian population was just 86 million. And by 2014, Nigerian population was about 180. You can see the doubling. So how do you now really feed everybody with the kind of thing that we have been doing, or our grandparents have been doing? You must develop a means of not only doubling but tripling their output. Because after all this population that we have, Nigerians area is about 91 million hectares, and which about 40% is arable or have been developed. Okay? So looking at that, and looking at also the challenge of developing more land, especially nowadays with the issue of insecurity, people are even afraid to go to farmers.
Nigeria, like many other nations, face environmental challenges such as erosion, desertification, climate change, drought, and other factors which debase soil fertility or inhibit crop cultivation.
There is no solution to environmental problems more than biotechnology, because in the first instance, pests are problems to crop, and conventionally pests are controlled using insecticides. And we know that the use of insecticides, particularly in this country where knowledge is limited, has caused more problems than the solution. Because you see cases where insecticides are overused, misused, and when you go to our chemical stores or outlets, you see fake and expired insecticides being sold to farmers. And as a necessity, because these pests have to be eliminated, farmers use them. And where do these chemicals end to? They end in the soils and in our waters, in our drinking waters. That is harmful to the environment. Biotechnology is intervening in this area by breeding crops that are either resistant or tolerant to these insects. That, in a way, is solving that problem.
The outbreak of diseases which affect and destroy crops, pests, and human activity have in no small measure undermined productivity and yield of farmers. In the light of a predicted population explosion and food crisis in Africa, most countries in the continent are keen into new technologies that will effectively address food shortages.
We don't have a crop, but we develop capacity for those countries that have committed themselves to the use of biotechnology for agricultural innovation, poverty alleviation, and environmental integrity. So we do this all over the country. We're in Jalingo, we are here now, we're going to Ife next week. Why do we do these things in universities? Because the heads that carry eggs, or the eggheads, they are here. And we want to hear more of them.
So long as we want this technology to be adopted by farmers and we want to enhance the uptake, the technology has been proven useful in all the developed countries. We have US, Brazil, Argentina, Canada, there are so many. And if you follow the trend, all these countries are well advanced countries. They have food security, they can feed, they can even, give food aid to other countries. So if this technology at least is a bad one, I don't think it will be that helpful and beneficial, empowering farmers making farmers to be able to take their children to school and what, increasing yields.
Crops that are genetically modified are touted as one of the ways of tackling impending food crisis, and Nigeria is taking the bull by the horn as it seeks to embrace agricultural biotechnology to enhance farming, food production, and growth of the economy.
The technology has enabled me to do things that I would not have been able to do. No plant breeder would have developed a Maruca-resistant cowpea material as I did today without using this technology. So definitely the technology has opened another opportunity for extending the horizons of my scientific capacity. This cowpea will certainly go to everywhere in the country where cowpea is grown. Why we included farmers in the evaluation is to fulfill the requirements for the National Variety Release Committee, so that they want to hear or see evidence that farmers have also evaluated this technology and they have concurred with the scientists in terms of its potential benefit before they register it for commercial release.
Concerns are constantly being raised on the safety of the genetically engineered crops. The National Biosafety Management Agency controls and regulates the use of biotechnology application in agriculture. The agency is basing its recommendations on empirical evidence and facts, and the National Biosafety Management Agency vows to ensure that biotechnology application is not imposed and that farmers rather have adequate knowledge on the new technology. Ultimately, the goal is that Nigeria remains relevant in this modern science and takes advantage of the potentials of biotechnology for agricultural growth and to reduce environmental degradation and damage of the ecosystem through the use of pesticides. Okay, it's time now to visit the market. The program Biotechnology in Focus continues after the break.
Madam, put that big one for
this
me.
One. Customer. Hey, customer. You must have done the sell all these big oranges where yes na GMO. Should be GMOs again.
Now, wow, my sister. Who tell you say GMO did this country?
You read them everywhere for town. Say all these big oranges, cassava and yam there. Say na GMO where Oyibo people bring to kill us.
Ah, my sister. All this big orange, yam, cassava where you dey see, not be GMO, na hybrid. You never hear WHO talk say GMO not be bad thing. Even our own government agency, NDMA, talk say them dey on top the matter for Niger. GMO never dey Niger market oh, and all those people where they tell you say GMO no good, themselves they eat them when they travel go obodo oyibo. Me self they pray, say make them bring and enter with Niger market, make we self follow enjoy. GMO, if it grow, whether rain fall or it no fall, it go kill pests and it no go affect your crop. In fact, it no carry disease for body. It get the vitamin where you need for body where them fit to put inside. You know, say me I like a better thing. But it not fit inside river, so for the enter in eye.
This GMO good oh, it good well oh. Eh?
This program now from the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB in Africa, Nigeria chapter, supported by the National Biotechnology Development Agency, NABDA, Abuja.
I have here with me in the studio an individual of very high reckoning, one who has over the years acquired vast knowledge in animal agricultural biotechnology. He is here to equip us And frankly speaking, I'm willing to learn. Are you? Do join me to welcome Dr. Pukwola Mustafa. He's a reproductive biotechnologist, National Biotechnology Development Agency. Welcome to the program, Biotechnology in Focus.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here today. And I am the opinion that a lot of people will now see the reason why we need to engage in biotechnology, and the children, we see the reasons why they need to eat a lot of biotech-made food. Thank you very much.
I totally agree with you, Dr. Pukwola. Now, let's begin by asking, what is the essence of hybrid in animal biotechnology, and how does this enhance food production?
Thank you very much again. And like you have said, hybrid breed that is a bit higher than what is basic. So what we're trying to do is to look at two breeds, a male and a female, and we want to work against some deleterious traits in them, and look at the aggregation of a good trait in them to have what we call an hybrid vigor. That is, they are going to have a genetic gain from the father, the male animal, and from the mother, the female, and they now aggregate the good ones. But conventionally, this process takes like 25 years. But we are talking using biotechnology. This is what you can actually achieve in a cycle that is around 288 days, less than 1 year, while working on the embryo and working on other things at the laboratory and molecular level. That is, instead of you waiting for the trait to be expressed in the phenotype, then you're actually working at it at molecular level, look at the genes that are responsible for what, aggregate them and transfer it from the mother and the father, and get a better animal that can give you the right quality of product you are looking at it. Is it in terms of milk, egg, milk, what have you, that can be of a good source of food to the children and even the adult.
Interesting. Now, does the modification or gene transplantation in animals affect their natural birth and growth patterns?
So like I would like to start by telling you again that if you look at the word biotechnology, bio means natural. The technologies that you're actually working on what nature has actually put there. You have a natural template. Everybody has a genome. And that's why you're going to be hearing about genomic studies, genomic modification, and everything you might have been talking about. In essence, biotechnology and particularly the science of gene editing, it's like you have a script that nature has written, and you have seen some things that you can actually edit in making sure that this particular script becomes better. So essentially that's what you are doing. You are not putting anything that is extraneous to the system in that. Remember, if somebody is sick, he might be taking some drugs, and these drugs can be made from artificial things, chemical, but we are talking about working with what God has put there naturally and making sure that we optimize it to get a better result. So essentially that is what biotechnology entails, and people need to actually appreciate what is going on in the laboratory to appreciate the results of biotechnology. Bio again means nature. I'm emphasizing that, and the technology is that technology that works with nature. So
what you are saying is that it does not affect the natural birth or the growth pattern?
Oh, definitely. It will not affect anything in a negative way. Rather, it's going to improve. When you are looking for productivity, you are looking at improvement. Then you can actually look at the quality traits at genetic level, aggregate them. You can move them from one place to another, and that is what happens in the natural space too. If there is a mating of a man that is light and a woman that is dark, you might probably have an offspring that is going to be midway. So meaning that there is an exchange of genetic material. But what we are saying now is that we can actually do this one at a more precise level, using precision technology or precision breeding to make sure that we actually get what we wanted to get, not what we assume we may get.
Okay, are there consequences for consumption of such products?
Oh, I mean, like I've rightly explained, what will have been the consequences of consuming something that is better than ordinary?
Long term or short term?
So that's what we are saying, because now there's nothing that you are introducing that is external. Before now, people are talking about genetic modification. Genetic modification, yes, it could be a very big word in that part of the world. In terms of, you can take gene from anywhere and put it in an animal. But we are now across the world, and the new trend is gene editing. Gene editing is telling you that you can actually work within a species. You cannot take a gene from pig to cattle. You can only take a gene within a cattle family of your interest to cattle. You can take a gene from human being to another human being. So that's what we are talking about. So really, there's nothing like maybe you are bringing something that can be questionable or anything that can. What we are talking about is that we have the understanding now that there are some genetic disorders. So, and there are some genes responsible for this disorder that might manifest later. So before the manifestation, which is highly consequential on the health and the growth and the well-being of that organism, then when we have understand that that gene can be silenced or it can be removed or replaced with one that is better.
Okay.
So that's what we are talking about. So we are not introducing anything that is, that is extraneous to the system. So where is the fear? And that has been the question.
Okay, now, this brings me to my next question. How does biotechnology enhance good dieting and healthy feeding habits?
Essentially, you are taking me to another big topic that I will call biofortification.
Okay.
And essentially, what are we talking about here is that you have basic foods. You know that this particular food, I mean, for example, you use diet. Food in the US, part of the slogan around food is that if it is not safe, it is not food. If it is not safe, it is not food. And here we are talking about diet. For different regions of the country, we have our different diet. That is things that we get used to. But what we are talking about now about biofortification is that you can look at a particular food. For example, you say maize now. And then you look at this particular maize is not sweet enough. What can we use? Because you know, naturally, you go to the supermarket, you get sweet maize. And the maize we have here is white, is very big, but it's not sweet. Can we make it sweeter? So we need to go and look at what is responsible for sweetness in the sweet maize and take it and add it to our home maize. For example, that's a very good example. Now we are talking about organic poultry because you want some carotene, which is a precursor of vitamin A, from grains to get into the egg. The birds have a way of mobilizing it. But if you keep them on conventional cages, that you are not introducing these grains, you might not have the carotene in their yolk. So that's what we are talking about. So we can walk around many of these organisms and aggregate what is required at any point in time and get it into the food system, into the food chain. So you can improve on a lot of diet doing that. For example, look at Opa in Igbo. It's
in the southeast.
Yeah, the south. Yeah, essentially you can see that it's a product of a beans, but in the fermentation process, you have a cocktail and aggregate of many microorganisms participating in the fermentation. So that's why you can have different color of Opa and different quality. But can you look at the one that is giving you possibly the chocolatey color and the type of aroma that you would like to have from that food, and now say, okay, instead of 500 microorganisms just participating in this, let me select the 3, 4, 5 organisms and concentrate them to give me this specific product. This is the type of Opa I want. So that's what biotechnology does. It just allows you to understand, okay, a lot of them, because you might not know some of these microorganisms that is just participating in a free range system, some of them can be toxin producing. So and that's why you might eat some food that are fermented and you have issues. Part of it, again, a very good example around that is, again, the yogurt. You can take some yogurt when you are traveling on the road and before some few minutes you are in the toilet. And you can take some yogurt and you feel like, no, I will be taking yogurt every day. And you can take the yogurt and you can actually appreciate the different taste and the quality. So we don't want to have a confused product going longer. Can we have a particular premium yogurt that is tasting this way and we know which organism is actually doing the fermentation process in the milk?
You have a part in short on this, particularly for the children.
Yeah, what I want to challenge the children to do is to actually, they are growing up to study biotechnology, understand it, so that they could be able to communicate it and get many people informed. And for the adults, it's a very open world for anybody to access information and look at what is actually happening in other countries. If you want to actually do agriculture and want to move from traditional subsistence to commercial agriculture, there is no way you want to move without biotechnology. Biotechnology has come to stay in the world. It's only for us in Nigeria to live from, to wake up from our slumber and think and move out of self-denials and actually adopt it in a positive way, and let us see the benefit it's going to bring to our economy.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Popola Mustafa. Thank you so much for your time.
It's all my pleasure.
It is at this juncture that we say farewell on this edition of Biotechnology in Focus. And believe me, next time promises a more engaging guest and an equally intriguing topic. Thank you for sharing your quality time with us.